conversations require coffee at 9 o'clock at night. Type in my password. You should not look at that. We'll look over here while I do it. Did I get it right? No, I did not. I gotta look. The only constant in life is change. Everything changes all the time, and that stays consistent, as well as taxes, I suppose, and death, which is another subject entirely. What we're talking about tonight relates directly to the video that I published the other day. Sometimes people hit you right in the armor, like right in the chink in the little crack, like just slip an arrow in. And it was interesting, right? So let me give you a little bit of backstory. The last video that I published on this channel, talking about the effort that goes into creating videos and how I had received a comment that just made me feel terrible. It made me feel really bad. And I am aware that my life has changed significantly because I have changed significantly. I've developed a whole bunch of skills, not just physical skills in terms of being able to make things and to be able to produce and do videos or whatever, but also mentally. My skill set has expanded. I have more capabilities than I had 7 or 8 years ago when it comes to my intellect. And when I say my intellect, I mean like methods of coping with stress, methods of communication, methods of problem solving, and just anything you can think of. And we all do it. We all change. We all have things that make us change. And usually change comes in the form of stresses. Stresses can be anything. So from the most common examples would be like financial pressure, where you got to figure out how to make money to pay the bills or pay the mortgage or the rent or whatever. Maybe it might be relationship stresses or family stresses or work stresses, or in a positive note, something like exercise stresses. The reason your body develops when you lift weights is because you're duressing your body so that it improves. It gets stronger, faster, better cardio. That happens when you use your brain, right? That happens. So we develop these skills and we develop them because of stresses. Now, I've had to go on a big skills journey primarily because I was diagnosed with PTSD quite a while ago. My psychologist and I have worked together quite diligently for quite a while, and in her words, she doesn't believe I deal with PTSD anymore as much as I am in a state where I am practicing how to appropriately set boundaries, express the emotions and stuff that you need to express. And as part of that sort of training, I got really into reading about Stoicism. Now, for whatever you think of Stoicism or whatever it might be, however you viewed it, for me it was really quite simple. It's that the world is going to give you stresses. You cannot choose your burden. You can't choose your suffering, but you can choose how you respond to it. It's such an important thing. You have to choose how you respond to the stressor that's given to you. It's like quitting before you finish an exercise. You know that you can finish it, you're capable of doing it, and you're really uncomfortable. You're hot, you're tired, you're sore, and you're capable, but you choose the bit of comfort, right? The little bit of, I can give up earlier on this exercise than finishing your set. In that moment, you've chosen to take something away from yourself, because finishing the set means that you're going to have more benefit, right? You're going to stress the muscle appropriately so it grows. By not finishing the set, you're achieving a level of comfort within your current point in time, but you cost yourself in the long run. So that's an example of how you could respond to a stressor. It's the same thing as what I describe as bricks in a relationship. If you have a relationship with someone and say they do something that frustrates you, whatever it might, they throw their dirty laundry in an inappropriate spot, and it's a very simple thing to fix. Instead of addressing it because you fear that it's going to bring up conflict, you ignore it and you tolerate it. Over the years, that creates what I call a brick. It's a level of friction and frustration in there. So instead of addressing it, you've let it build into something far bigger than it actually is. And those bricks over years stack up and build a wall between you two, because it's not just going to be one brick, it's going to be multiple bricks on both sides. So you have this wall built between you from tiny little stuff that really doesn't matter. That's a way of negatively handling a stressor. Now, there are a couple of examples. I know from my own life experience that stresses and how you deal with them can be really confronting. I'm going through a period of change. Like I said, I've developed a skill set. I'm now seeking things that I wasn't seeking before in terms of my content production, in terms of my life, where I want to go and what I want to do. I'm making those adjustments. And when you make adjustments, when you create change in your life, there is always going to be some kind of conflict and stressor, always, because you're integrating new things, you're developing new things, and you're not going to get it right. So I was dealing with that in my head because I feel like my content at the moment isn't good enough. Right? I'm not holding myself to the same standards that I was a while ago. Not that the quality of the production has gone down, but the quantity. I was doing multiple, up to 7 videos a week on my Facebook and YouTube channels. And backing that workload off and changing it to other projects like the old moldy and creating products and building a new brand and things like that makes me feel like I'm being lazy and irresponsible with my channel, especially considering how much I do love producing video content. And so now I'm in a situation where I was thinking about that, and then I get told that my content's boring, even though I feel like I'm putting in maximal effort considering all the other things I'm doing. And it just hit me right in that crack, right in that little, that I was already lamenting myself on that subject, and it hit me right there. And then that elicited the video response that I put up. I still believe everything that I said in that video. It's an incredibly complex job. It's not necessarily physically difficult, but it is mentally complex to run a YouTube channel where you've got hundreds of thousands of subscribers and people looking to you for advice, information, and you're responsible for the overall impact you have on that community. Which neatly brings me to this. I got a message through my Facebook page and it was just saying, hey, yo, I gave you a $50 super chat after that video in support of your channel because I like your content. And I didn't even get a shout out. I didn't even get recognition for that. And I felt so instantaneously horrible about that because the video I put out was explaining it. You know, you make these videos for free. You put these content out for free and you hope that you're going to get a return. And here was someone offering their money generously to me to support this business. That's what it is. It's a business. And I didn't see it. Now I only log into this account maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks because it's my secondary account. Sometimes it's more common, but more often than not, maybe once a week. So I didn't see it. That's not an excuse, but then it got me curious. I was like, well, how many other people have sent me super chats that I haven't seen? Look at them all. Every single one of these people have sent me a super chat in the last few days. Got Matthew by Kowalski, Mary Unda, Healthy Cordy GD5YY, Steve Fisher, $50. Steve was the one that sent, and this is comments, but Andrew, not even an acknowledgement. The irony of posting a thanks about recognition for effort. This is exactly it, right? I hadn't even seen this. I haven't even seen any of these others. Trevor Watt, Renee Mold, Trevor Watt again from 3 months ago, XNAKXX, Bobby Brown, Mad Marlin. Man, there are so many people here. And these deserve and will get a proper shout out on my main channel when I get my next video published and ready. It will either be in the next one or the one preceding it, depending on my filming schedule. But my point is this. I want to say thank you to everyone who has donated to the channel. But the responsibility of what I was going through in my last video is mine. Stoicism has taught me one thing above all else, is that how you react to a stressor is ultimately up to you. My response, I think, was appropriate in terms of articulating the problems and the stuff that goes on behind the scenes so people have a better understanding of the situation. But letting something like a comment that isn't necessarily even nasty or bad affect me in such a way that I would elicit that response is not very stoic. It doesn't follow the principles and the guidelines that I believe in. The principles and guidelines that I believe in would say that I would meet that comment with a level of, I had to pause to think about that, a level of self-reflection. If it's affecting me in that way, if that comment's affecting me in that way, what truth is in that comment that I can make a change in my life so that it affects me in a positive way, right? Anytime you make a change based around something that has hit you in the armor, hit you in that chink in the armor, is going to be painful because you're going to have to shed the dead wood off your personality, right? If it's getting to you that badly, there's some underlying thing there that needs to be addressed. So, to everyone who sent a super chat on this channel that I haven't recognized before, you have my sincere gratitude for that. I understand that money, especially in today's day and age, is an incredibly complex and deeply rooted problem within our society. And to give a stranger some of your hard-earned money in support of a business that brings entertainment is phenomenal. And I'm going to utilize the guilt that I feel over not seeing these and not paying enough attention to recognize that this was happening in the background to spur me on to do better. The community that has been built around Vo-Gus prospecting and now spud engineering is important to me for a multitude of reasons, but mostly because I want people to develop strong mental skill sets that are going to benefit not only themselves, but hopefully their family and communities. And I can't do that alone. It's up to the community. It's very loud. It's up to the community to spread the messages, to share videos, to share the concepts that I've talked about that maybe spark ideas with you guys. And the super chats, the money that comes in from the ad revenue and the sponsors of the channel, such as all of these people, is what directly goes back into allowing me the creative freedom to do this, which is a very privileged position, and I don't take it lightly. So thank you, and hopefully this will create more quality communication between myself and the people who watch my show.